Hey, welcome to the Two Top Movies podcast. I'm Cam.
I'm Luke.
And today we are talking about the 2001 fantasy movie, Spirited Away, starring, excuse me if I butcher any of these names, I'm probably going to butcher them all, Rumi Hiragi, Davy Chase, Mari Natsuki, Miyu Irino, and Yumi Tamai, and Bunta Sugawara. Excuse me if I butchered any of those. I'm sure I did. I meant no ill will. But the film is about a 10-year-old girl who goes on an adventure. She's moving into a new house, and then she stumbles upon this wall that kind of leads to nowhere, seemingly. But it goes into this.
It's like a tunnel to a town and theme park mix.
Yeah, it was a theme park, and then she gets there, and then they see like this abundance of food, which her parents just chow down, and the girl's name, excuse me, Chihiro. That's the main character's name. She does not eat the food, and the food turns her parents into pigs, and in order to get them back to human form and go on with their life, she has to work and then go through literally like hoops to get back to normal life. And I think that's the easiest way to explain it, while also trying to avoid being noticed as a human. I think that's a pretty big part to incorporate. And that's the brief of it. Yeah. I wanted to pick something that we haven't really talked about, and I don't think we talked about anime ever, but we have talked about an animated movie. I think our second episode, or I think one of the first episodes we did. No, the second episode we did for when we started doing video was Toy Story. I think that's all we have. So I want to do more movies that we do not talk about. But yeah, that is the movie, and I guess we can just hop right into our opening thoughts. Luke?
I want to start off with the moment that they show up, to the park thing, because we talked about they show up and there's like this huge abundance of food. I couldn't help but think the dad just turned into like his inner Wolverine for a minute and was sniffing the air to lead him to the food. I was like, dude, you are literally a fat ass. Like, what are you doing? And sure enough, he sits down and instantly gobbles up that food. And I was like, okay, I can't even feel bad for you at this point. And the mom kind of follows suit. But then as they sit there and the kid's like, I don't like this, I want to leave, and they're just in the background, I was like, you guys are kind of terrible parents.
Yeah, she's about to leave her kid back.
She did leave her kid. The kid runs off, and they just didn't care. They kept eating.
No, I meant but before they even got through the tunnel, when she was
like
scared.
back of the car. Yeah, they just were like, oh, well, I guess you don't have to come.
We'll see you on the other side, or if you choose to come.
And I suppose it's like not unheard of to for parents just to give like baseless ultimatums of some sort like that. Mm-hmm. But come on, man! Like, do better, be nicer.
Yeah, that was a lot at the beginning. But what do you think about the movie in its entirety?
Whole, I don't think I've ever watched any anime before, like just ever, whether it's a show or movie. I know people are always like, whether it's like One Piece or some other thing, they're like, you gotta check it out, it's so good. And I'm like, I don't know, it's just not for me.
Yeah.
And watching it, like, I was impressed more so with the art style.
For sure.
Because I like how there's moments where they zoom in on the environments before they go to the characters and the animation of it. Mm. And you can see like the hand-drawn brush strokes of it. So I don't know, like, behind the scenes if they hand-painted all the backgrounds or not. But regardless if they did or didn't, it was really intricately detailed. So I liked that a lot. The voice actors, I think, are really good. I did not care for the animation, though, because it was fine whenever there was high-speed moments where if somebody's running or, just running or, like, flying, basically. But then if they're walking or talking, it's just really choppy, and, like, their lips don't match the words at the same time, like, at all.
It wasn't filmed in America.
I know, but, like, even if you changed it, I still didn't notice any.
Yeah, it was made. I think it was made for its Asian audience.
I know, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's still like just animation wise, regardless of like their language versus ours, I still just didn't see it line up.
Because they were originally talking in whatever language.
I know. I'm saying if you go and change the language, to that, it should line up, and I still didn't see a difference.
I'd have to change the entire animation, like redraw everything.
No, you're missing what I'm saying.
No, I know
Okay,
you're
hold
changing
on.
the language. You're
Yeah,
changing
so
the language.
it's whenever you turn it on immediately, it's in English, right? So if it's made for an overseas audience, it's not going to match like the lips and the language that we have here. But if you change their language to where it was made, the lip sync would match it because that's how they lined it up to make it.
Right.
But it still seems slow enough that that doesn't happen, even if you change it. It's still too choppy for my liking.
And it's what language is supposed to be like.
Japanese, I think. I want to say, I think.
Spirited Away. From where?
From where?
Yeah, that's the easiest way. Japanese, yeah.
Yeah.
So you're saying even when you change the language back to Japanese,
Yeah,
it was still too.
I still feel like it's too choppy regardless.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Especially after like, granted this is 2001, so I can give like a little bit of credit, but like knowing that there's other animated projects that I've seen out there that have had like better lip syncing,
Mm-hmm.
I was like, okay, come on. But that one's more of the minor thing. I just hit the mic, but that's more one of the minor things. I think the big one that I just didn't care for was plot. I wasn't vibing with it.
Okay. I get that.
I'll get into that in a minute, but what were your general thoughts?
I feel like there was a lot going. I think we were just provided a lot of information at the beginning, just too much at one time because we were given the rules of this land, and I don't know, it just seemed like a lot of information.
Mm-hmm.
I think the score is the biggest thing that stood out to me throughout the whole thing. What's the difference between the score and the soundtrack? Soundtrack is
The soundtrack's like actual songs.
Yeah.
Am I in the wrong for not liking the music?
What?
Am I in the wrong?
No, because you're entitled, but you didn't like it?
I didn't have a problem with the theme. It was more so that the theme was always playing. Where like if somebody was talking, I was like fading in and out because I was tuning in to listen to the theme and then going back to the dialogue and then just bouncing between the two because the theme was so loud the entire time. It wasn't like an underscore where it was like lighter.
Okay.
So like if there's a scene where like there's one moment where she's on the main character's like on these back stairs or going down. If there's a theme playing there and there's no dialogue, that's fine because that builds some ambience and world building. But when you're having a conversation like this and it's just like really loud, then I'm like, I can't hear you.
Okay.
Speak up.
So you didn't like the placement and the volume of it?
Yeah, we'll go with the placement volume. I
Okay.
wasn't fond of, but I got used to it after a while.
Okay. Okay. You didn't, but you're also saying you didn't like the noise that was being made. Is that accurate?
Yeah, like during dialogue, if there's a score playing, it was too loud. I was like it needs
just
to
turn
turn
the
down.
whole.
Yeah,
Okay.
and I can't like change the volume because if I just turn the volume, all of
the
it goes
audio.
down, and then I'm like, I can't hear anything at that point.
Okay. So you didn't like the sound.
I don't like the placement of it. Yeah.
Okay. What about the actual like music, or you just didn't bother because you're?
Oh, the score's great. I like the score.
Oh yeah, that's what I was talking about.
Yeah, I don't like the placement of it, though.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
Maybe I should have clarified that
Yeah, I'm like,
before
you
I
didn't
just
like it.
outright said
Yeah, I
that.
didn't
That's
like it.
my
I'm
bad,
like-
gang. Sorry.
But I love the score. But regarding your point with you didn't like the plot, it took me a while to realize. I think I got like a quarter halfway through the movie. I'm like, oh, this isn't a movie that's plot driven. I know your big thing is plot, but this is just a movie. It's just an adventure on its own.
Yeah.
And that's what I kind of had to sit back and realize. Like, there's no destined end goal. You just kind of have to sit back and enjoy this ride. And it kind of reminded me, I don't know if this is accurate, of Pan's Labyrinth. I haven't seen it in a while, but that was kind of an adventure on its own. Maybe I took inspiration from it. But, you know, I put a poll up on Instagram asking what people want to see between this, Akira, and Ponyo. I only know those two, Ponyo and this one. I only like Akira because I wanted to put Akira because I like Akira. Shout out Jerron. But, yeah, and everyone was just saying, I saw Rotten Tomatoes like a 96, 98. I'm like, wow, this movie is really good. But I can't give it a 5 out of 5 or at least 4.5 out of 5. You know, that's kind of giving away my score at the end or process of elimination. But I don't know. I just wasn't captivated by it. Not saying it's a bad movie, but because it's not at all. But I just didn't. I guess I just wasn't connected to it. But I like to say I understand it.
Yeah,
Study.
I know whenever I finished watching it, I went back on Letterboxd. I don't think I rated it yet because either I just didn't or forgot. I don't know. And I was like looking at other people's reviews. There were so many 4.5 and 5s, and I was like, did I miss something? I was so lost. And like as I read through, there was one, I can't remember the username or the score they gave it, but they talked more about like it was the multiple themes of the film that made it greater than the story. And then that further solidified the fact that I didn't care as much for it because I was like, I don't think it's bad if you have themes, but you can't just make a film off the vibe and think it's going to be amazing.
Yes, you can. A movie off vibe?
Off of a vibe solely? No, you got to have some sort of like story or plot with it. And they get the stuff with the pigs and like the family there, and that's good. But then they jump between side characters for most of the runtime. And for a movie that's, in my mind, only 2 hours and 5 minutes, which doesn't feel like a lot in a runtime that I could sit through, this movie feels long as shit. I was like, can we get back to the main plot? Like, there's one point where there's this little like orb thing, and be fully honest, I zoned out. I don't even know how she got it, but the main character gets this little orb thing, and supposedly if she gives it to her parents, the pig, it'll cure them, but there's only one, so she has to know which pig was her mom and dad.
This is at the end, right?
No, this is like earlier in the film still.
Yeah.
And then she's just like, oh, well, I guess I got to go there now. And then she doesn't for like another 30 minutes and deals with something else. I think it's like the big monster thing in the bathhouse.
Yeah.
And then she's like, oh, well, you could have this. And I was like, no,
Yeah.
you have your own objective to go to.
Yeah.
It's a side quest. You don't need to do that. I was like,
I think the jumping, the spacing in time and like the mission at the time is just kind of far because it's far and it's short because I guess they pick and choose because there was a point where she had to take the train. I think that went by really quick.
Yeah.
When she had to go in the water and stuff.
I felt funny watching that scene because I saw the boat and there's one paddle and it's in the front. And so it looks like it's supposed to be paddling side to side and then like twisting.
Yo.
But if you paddle
You can't see his hands.
but if you're like just normally paddling, wouldn't the oar just be smacking the front of the boat and not like really doing much?
I think so.
Yeah, so I thought that was just kind of silly, but maybe that's me just not understanding and being ignorant. But
I don't know boat.
I don't know boat.
I don't know. Me no boat.
Me no boat.
What else would I say? This was a part, and I think I missed it. Probably did. Why did people not care she was human after a while?
Yeah, that was another thing. There's so much, like you said earlier, that just happens at the start of like the film that you're told so much.
Yeah.
To where I'm at the point where I would almost borderline say you're exposition dumping. And like, so leading up to it, there's this kid that is like, I've known you since you were a child or whatever. That doesn't get followed up ever again, as far as I'm aware. And then like is like, we need to move. They'll stop you if they find you. And I was like, why? That doesn't happen again. And then he's like, don't breathe. They'll know you're a human. And she like screams because like something jump scared or whatever. And they're like, a human. And he just knocks this frog over that screamed and runs. And then it never gets brought up again. And I was like, oh. So are they just all now fine with it? Does that mean that if you're a human in the spirit world and you decide to sign yourself into child labor, then they don't care if you're a human anymore?
And like the whole, the way I interpret it is, or I read somewhere, and I don't know if this is accurate, but like everyone there is a human. They just go there to escape. But I don't.
Interesting.
I don't know if that was.
I don't know if that would work though, because there's the boy that's there that turns into like a dragon randomly, like out of nowhere, and then just magically turns back. But he doesn't remember his name, so like maybe he's also a human, and that's why he doesn't remember.
He said he was a river though. He was a spirit of the river.
Yeah.
But that I don't know how that human aspect came into it. Yeah. Maybe we're missing something.
Maybe we are. I don't know. I just can't wrap my hand around it. Maybe it's not for me.
I probably just took it at face value and then I just
didn't think.
Yeah, I'm like, oh well, they told me this, so I thought that, and maybe it's just like some other stuff. What else? I think another aspect that makes this movie, I can understand why people give it 4.5, 5s, whatever 4s, and is it's it's singular. Don't think I've ever. I know I just compared it to Pan's Labyrinth, but that was human and those were costumes. But this is animation. This was 2001 too, so I can give praise to that because drawing all of this and have this much creativity and I don't know what type of movies were being made, what era we were in 2001 of us regarding movies, especially overseas movies. But to make a movie, literally like what Luke said, just based off themes. And not do it in such a harsh, in-your-face way. Well, I didn't think it was like that harsh, but I think that's a bold step to take. And I think it was done well. It just didn't connect with me as much. But I can't give you. I'm trying to think of maybe I'll come up to something at the end of it, but I just don't think it stood out to me because the themes aren't so relevant with me. The themes I'm thinking of, like friendship and love and stuff like that, and loyalty. I guess that, like, obviously those are important to me, but to make a whole movie about it and want me to connect with it, I guess that's just not me.
Yeah, I feel like there's something left to be desired, I'd say, with it. And on a different note from that, like, I do appreciate kind of alongside the art of it, not the animation, is the character designs. I think they're all very unique, very intricately detailed.
That nose.
And dude,
that nose.
That nose. There's so many close-up angles where, like the 0.5 photos that you take of people, it's like that, but from the side. And it's just this massive nose in the front of the frame. It's
like if you saw Phineas, like straight forward though. Wait, what do you see? No, you see Phineas on the side. Which one was it? You ever seen that? It's a, you watch Family Guy?
Yeah.
It's a, they have this bit where they show Jewish characters like straight up, but like every once in a while they'll turn them to the side. They turn them to the side and nose like long. It's like that type of nut, but you see every angle of it.
Yeah, and it's like this old woman that's like really short and she glides around. So like there's a camera angle and she'll be like really far back like this and she'll just be like, oh, and zoom in with the nose. And I'm like, all right, you can back up a little bit. I leave some room for Jesus at the minimum. Like back up.
Jesus. Yeah,
not even Christian, but like Jesus would want some room in there. Goodness. But like, yeah,
bad though.
Pause.
What?
What?
What are you talking about?
You mean, what am I talking about? What are you talking about?
No, what were you going to say? You said leave room for Jesus.
All right. Leave room for Cam too. But but yeah, like back on track. But the character design, I do think they're all really intricately designed. Even if they're like kind of obnoxious at times. There's one guy that's in the boiler room that has a ton of arms. Yeah. And like that kind of caught me off guard at first. And then I was like, oh, that's kind of cool at the same time once you like realize how many components that are going on down there. Mm-hmm. And then like the little sprite thingies that bring McCole to and from, those are kind of neat. But yeah, all of it's interesting. I think the one that I stood out to me the most, probably just because it had the most time focused on it as a plot point, was maybe the shadow mask thing. Yeah. Where it was like really silent and it was kind and it was helping out the main character often. And then went into the bathhouse and just like secretly was down there. And like the little frog guy rolls up and is like, whoa, we're closed. You can't be here. And the thing just straight up eats him and then takes his voice and is like, oh, I've got change. I've got tons of gold, and just pulls it up out of his hand. And I was like, I don't know where that came from. And I don't really fully understand what that sprite is, but I like its design and how it evolves over time, where the more things that it ends up consuming, it bulges out a little bit and then grows like extra appendages to like account for it to then move around. So I thought that stuff was kind of neat. And then eventually the main character talks to it and it's just like, I don't want to. Yeah, okay. The dialogue in that scene's kind of funny though. What? So the main character has to go into the bathhouse where the big sprite thing is and talk to it, because that's just the only person that's requesting. And she goes in and the sprite thing is like, I want this and this and this. Like, you're finally here. I'm so ready for this. Can you bring me these? And the girl just says, no, I want to leave. And the sprite's like, what?
Oh, yeah, taking them back.
Yeah. Like, it felt a little simple for writing, and that's kind of how I felt too, because we're getting towards the end of the movie at this point, but then it keeps going, and I was like, yeah, we can wrap it up now. I'm ready to leave too.
Mm-hmm. I thought the movie was gonna have more time spent. I thought there was going to be more time spent between those two because I saw the poster. I've seen the poster for a while. I just never watched this movie, and I thought those two were gonna have like some weird chemistry going.
Yeah.
I will say the character design was great amongst all the characters, but that mouth was throwing me off. Like I didn't like imagine all of this is just my eye. You can only see my eyes. But actually, I'll just put the pic. Actually, I don't know if I put the picture. Imagine all of this is my eyes, except my eyes, but my mouth's like right here, and that part really threw me off. But I think it was. I thought it was well designed because it left me curious. Like, what's this thing? Because it's kind of foreshadowed that this thing is watching her, and is going to play a part. But he singles her. But he kind of you never really get anything until like halfway through. Moving on from that, were you done with that?
Yeah, I'm done with that.
Sound design is also very important. That's separate from the actual score. I don't know if I don't watch a lot of animated movies, so I can only imagine how important that is because you have to literally make every single sound as opposed to a movie set, and you could just get natural sound. Yeah, you can get natural sound in some parts, but knowing that they had to go out and make every single sound, every footstep, every door creak, every cough, whatever. I thought that was really important and well done.
Yeah, I can agree with that. I know it's one of the things that I praise, or one of the many praises I have with the Spider-Verse films too, is their sound design. There's so many like weird quirks that they have, both in their just like moment to moment sound, and then like the scores too. I think that's more prevalent in this, mainly with just the moment-to-moment sounds. I don't think the score is that technically impressive. I don't think it's just kind of melancholy might be the right word. It's kind of like hopeful, I guess.
Okay.
It's like in the background, kind of like moves the plot along, kind of like so theme to accompany the journey that the main character's on and the many sidetracks that she takes.
I think I saw the timeline of Spider-Man into one of those Spider-Man movies, and the animated ones, and like the audio tracks are just so layered. It's crazy, as well as the video tracks. Those are, I don't know why I like looking at those for some reason, just see how much.
There's so much cool stuff that's happening.
Yeah, and like on they don't use Premiere. They use Avid. You know what Avid is?
I think.
Yeah, it's like a different version of Premiere. Yeah. They use that Newswatch. But yeah, just seeing all that was just, it's not even like you see it moving. It's just you see, because I see what we do on our end for this, but to see what they do and for it to be like 2 hours or whatever, it's crazy. But yeah, going towards the end though, or did you have anything to say? So the part where she goes to Granny's house, the twin of the lady at the beginning. Well, it'd be better if we use names, right? What was her name?
The girl's name is Chihiro, I think.
No, not her. What's the old woman's name?
I'm gonna be honest, I didn't even write them down because I was so worried I was gonna butcher it.
I think it's Yubaba. Or is
that
sounds
Zeniba? Zeniba might be it.
I think it's Zeniba. The nice sister. The sister that got sliced. With like the paper or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
When they were leaving at the end, it was kind of sad. When getting all these names. When Haku comes back, and he comes back, did he come back he came back as a dragon.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, it was kind of sad because, I don't know, just leaving characters behind is always, and she wasn't even a big part of the story, but she also left No Face there. And I know that storyline was it played a big part at the end, but No Face in his normal state, assuming it's a guy, in his normal state, we didn't get a lot of that. We only see him being like the monster, like eating everything. It kind of made me sad. I don't know.
Yeah, I wonder if maybe they overdid it with some of the side characters. because I feel like that was my main gripe with the plot is that you get there, okay, now the parents are pigs. You need to rescue them. That is now the main objective of the movie for the main character to follow. And then you get these other bits of exposition from the guy that's also there, where he's like, I've known you for however long, and like you're a human, they've got to take you. So those add like subplots if you want to add them in.
Okay.
But then there's, I think No Face is the same as the big sprite thing.
Yeah.
Like they're randomly there. Now she has to get hired for some reason and just works there for like the rest of the movie, and then goes on all these other side plots. And I think it makes me think more back to the one I've watched most recently that's kind of like a similar thing where sorry, my throat's really dry tonight, but in After Hours, because I watched that recently, it makes me kind of think back to that, where you have this main objective, but then there's all these other side quests that are going back on with it. But I feel like all the side quests have a good, meaningful purpose to be there, and they don't like just symbolize anything. They're just random bullshit that gets in the way, and then like it makes it more compelling that way. But with this, I feel like it's all, you all right?
Yeah, sorry. Sorry.
But I feel like with this, it's striving more for a theme and a vibe than it is for plot relevance. And like some parts of it have relevance, but not enough that I can really care enough for it.
Do you think would you say you like After Hours more than this?
Yeah.
Do you think you like After Hours plot more than this because it's more human-like and you can relate more to it?
No. I like After Hours plot more because everything has a reason to be there and like helps kind of tie in with each other, but then also relate back to the main plot. So in After Hours, for example, like the main goal afterwards is he wants to get back home. And then there's random things that keep happening to delay that. And then on his way to leave, he's meeting up with this girl and he's going to go on a date and whatnot. And then he meets the artist who then ties into the people that are smuggling things out of houses. And then the girlfriend or the boyfriend of the girl that he's meeting ties into getting his keys back from his apartment. And then the journey to get the keys ends up making him an enemy of like the entire neighborhood, which then ties into the other people.
You're spoiling the movie, by the way.
I know, but it's old enough that if you haven't seen it, just watch it.
That's not true.
No?
Because
Is
this
it not?
movie's 2001 and I haven't seen it. And I'd hate for it to get spoiled.
I mean, I don't know. It's 2001. Just watch it. I don't know. Tough love, I guess, for me. I don't know.
I'm going to spoil something for you one day. I want to see.
All right.
I want to do that. Somebody spoil something
If
for
it's
me.
like an older thing, I don't care. But if it's like I'm seeing something in 2 weeks and you're like, dude, you're not going to believe this, I'm going to be like just walking out of the room.
Okay.
But anyway, but to answer the question, no, I think After Hours is side objective things and its plot have more reason to be there than it does in Spirited Away, because I don't feel like most of them further the main plot focus of that movie. I think they're all just kind of added on.
Okay. I can understand that. But I don't think I have anything more to say. I do want to get into ratings.
Yeah, I'm good for ratings.
Luke, what are we giving it?
I'm gonna give it a 3 out of 5.
3
I think
out of 5.
down the middle of the road. I like your art style. I like some of the voice acting. I don't really care for much else past that. Some of the animation is still too choppy for my liking,
Okay.
especially in movements. And then the plot falters a little bit. There's too much focus, I feel like, on side moments and not as much of the entire reason the plot starts.
Okay. I think I'm going to go 3.5. I like how this movie's one of its own from what I've seen. I can appreciate the time. I think this movie you just spend time with. You don't have to like look at it and kind of look forward to anything. You kind of just sitting back and enjoying the ride. I kind of enjoyed it. I'll say that. I think I already said artistic. How good it is there. The score really did it for me. That was like one of the first things I noticed. But yeah, just that, I guess that lack of desire to get anywhere or just interest, and the lack of Like I understand the themes and stuff, but I don't know. It just didn't sit with me, which is fine. You know, maybe if there was more conflict with the themes to actually put a dent in it, but then again, it would take away from it not being directly in your face. But yeah, from what it gave me, I can just appreciate that. I'll give it a 3.5. But I think that's all we have to say. We appreciate you guys for watching this episode. I just want to try something different this week. When does this come out? This is coming out the 31st or the 1st? It's coming out the 31st, excuse me. Coming out January 31st. All of February, we'll be sticking to traditions, doing Black History Month movies. Really looking forward to that. There's a movie Luke wants to talk about, which I've been wanting to talk about for a couple years. We just haven't done it.
I didn't even see it when it came out in theaters because I was young, didn't have a car, and no money. So it was just if I could convince my parents to drive me, I would go watch it.
Nice.
And unfortunately, I was a little Marvel Cinematic Universe boy, so I was saving my requests for those movies.
Nice. I think I've seen it. I have seen it. I'm not gonna say what movie it is. I think that's an episode with just the two of us. So you'll know it when we see it. But I'm looking forward to the movies we have. We have some guests lined up. They're pretty animated. Hopefully they bring that energy to the podcast. I'm looking forward to that. Anything else you need to say?
Thanks for watching.
I feel like I yapped a lot this episode. But yeah, we'll see you next week. I'm Cam.
I'm Luke.
And we'll see you later. Bye.
Peace.